was recording this before going to bed. Had a difficult day, and haven't really felt like recording anything, and just kind of pushing myself to do it now. Maybe there's something inside of me that thinks it's a healthy thing to do, and I did have the intention to cook some food today, but that just didn't seem to happen. So a lot of the day I've just been feeling low, and whereas I haven't plugged in my microphone. I've got a small lapel mic, so the sound may not be, I don't know how the sound may not be that great. So just feeling low, heavy mood. It's almost just me just getting through the day. I don't know, the thought of like almost, the thought was like, I'm living out some sort of weird prison sentence, and even though my life is nowhere near as difficult as those sort of conditions, but maybe just as a description, sort of mentally imprisoned, maybe. It just feels like I'm just trying to, sounds weird to say, but just keep myself alive, really. Just get myself through another day. It's hard to, I think the normal things that can, I feel like living life, areas of life, like passions and careers, interests, relationships, all of that just seems to be getting less and less. Just feel more disconnected, and the few sort of connections I do have, I can just sense they're fading. And I kind of knew they would, because I could tell, like, if I'm not putting anything into a relationship, friendship with somebody, then it's going to be hard for that person to keep it going by themselves. It doesn't seem like it works that way. And so, and also with the way I'm feeling, it's really hard for someone to absorb this energy I'm feeling. And I don't imagine they want to be around this energy as well. Not that if I do talk to a friend, I try not to mention too much about what I'm going through, and in a general way I do, but not like in loads of details, like such as recording this. I wouldn't, so I don't want to get them down, but it still feels like it's happening anyway, and that whatever kind of few connections I have, and I'm just trying not to, try not to get too down about that. Just seeing it for what it is. Of course, there's the obvious impact of emotionally being alone, and not having many sort of meaningful connections in my life, or watching them dwindle away. I'm trying not to add that to like a story of my life. It feels like me sharing it here. It's not like, doesn't feel like as a complaint as much, just sort of offloading. I feel like if I was demanding things shouldn't be this way or life's unfair, then that feels like complaining, but I'm trying not to go down that route at all. Feels like everyone is having challenges in life, in wherever we are, whatever success or happiness that's in people's lives, there's always challenges. So yeah, so it just feels like a bit of a shell of my life. My main sort of determination is just trying to be present, mindful, and there's a little bit understanding about karma and dissolving karma with trying to stay sort of connected to the present moment and being so it's moments there where I was able to, but there was a really heavy energy where I was just with the pain, really, just trying to stay with just trying to bear the sort of mental pain. And there was an understanding of, of course, this is not the complete picture of why people take substances, and there's various reasons, but I can kind of empathize about not wanting to be in this pain anymore. It's just why people go to like any number of substances, and that came across my mind. So I didn't have a great sleep last night, and I tried to sleep in a little bit. As I mentioned, I had the intention to cook. I really had that in a strong way to, okay, let's just try my best to do that today. And I think by the time I left my house and went to get some groceries and came back, I hadn't eaten all day, and it was like past 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could feel myself. I think I had a bit of a dizzy moment, and I just thought, I need to eat something, and I knew by eating something at that time, especially something substantial, that I wouldn't be too hungry later, and I could just sense there'd be less motivation to try and cook, and so I'm trying not to be too hard on myself with that. I've got the intention to try and do it tomorrow. I am visiting some family tomorrow, which I'm sort of dreading in some ways, just more so for just not wanting them to see me like this, not having the energy to engage in niceties and try and act everything's okay. And also just the dealing with the energies. If I'm feeling quite low and vulnerable, so it's going to be like more difficult just to absorb people's conversations and energies and noise. I'm going to be sensitive in those areas, or more vulnerable. So maybe it's a good idea not to expect myself to cook when I get back home. Maybe just to try and see how it goes after the visit, because I may just feel even more down and low. Yeah, so that was just the main feelings of today, really. Felt like I was just not so much waiting, but just sort of seeing the day pass by me, almost in a bit of a lifeless way. Mm. Feels like there's so many things that pop into my head before when thinking about recording, but when I'm doing it now, it just, I know part of that's probably my health, just things get jumbled up and it's hard to hold certain thoughts and remember them. Yeah, it's late actually, past my bedtime. It's like 11, but I just sensed that I thought I'd record something just so there's some meaning in my day, really, by recording this. I'm not sure. Even this just feels, it was a little bit like a bit of a waste of time sometimes, just recording this. And but yeah, maybe it's something. It kind of adds a little bit of some sort of marker of my day. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's just how things are for me at the moment. Yeah, writing connection with that still remain the same today. It's like, and that was the one thing that was keeping me sane, even when I started writing in my early 20s. It was when I had a lot of energy, but I was still dealing with depression, but there was an outlet but yeah, it just doesn't feel like it's available to me, which is just, again, it's just the way things are right now. Trying to accept that. I did have a moment today that feels like writing's dwindled to just a thought now, to think, okay, maybe tomorrow I can just get myself to write, just to be productive, just to keep myself going. And so maybe I'm grateful for that, at least, that there's a thought to, even though there's a disconnection and a difficulty and a block, but just to kind of survive, keep myself going in some way. So I feel like it's quite a slippery slope, place I'm in, really. So it's like, if I sink any lower, then I can imagine dark thoughts coming up and other habits, and letting go of other things like picking up binge eating again, which I'm as close to doing today. So yeah, I'm just going to try and kind of dreading going to sleep, really. I find just dealing with thoughts, and I find it in my mind's the most active. It's really hard to be mindful and present, especially when I'm feeling the way I am, vulnerable. So it's like just an extra, I feel more vulnerable to that, and less stable in just sort of doing like body scans and focusing on my breathing, which is what I try and do sometimes with sleep. Yeah, it's really strange. Even all the stuff I've just said, it's just hard to acknowledge how hard things are for me. It's hard to know where I am. I find, because I'm in the middle of it, so it's really hard to just zoom out and disconnect and just assess how things are for me. It's really hard to know how serious things are, or if it just sounds more dire than it is. Sometimes I just lose perspective completely, really. Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to get some sleep tonight. I'm sure that will help with tomorrow, seeing some family. Yeah, just take tomorrow as it comes. I feel like with not writing and other things, yeah, it feels like I'm a bit more out to sea in a bad way. With, um, I feel like it was almost like a bit of a rudder for me on the boat, a little bit of a rudder to write, even if I wasn't able to write, but it's just something in the background. I know, okay, I have to go back to doing that and I can write the next day, but now it just feels like I'm drifting. So I'll try and just stick with the mindfulness and being present with that practice, and try and be with the pain and not add to the pain with unhelpful thoughts and a story of unfairness or a story of complaining, or try and just hang in there.